emotions is something it is that we all gotta first understand that we all have. And the emotional part of us is not the part it is, because the emotional part of us is the part that oftentimes get us in trouble. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I learned, and I'm still in the learning process, because we're all a work in progress, but I learned that, you know, my emotions got the best of me, got me in some situations and some issues that, you know, I wasn't okay with, you know. So after going through certain things that life brought with, you know, emotionally reacting.
Hey, what's up, family? I just want to hop on here and share some quick reflections as I review my year. From day one to 2023 to now, my year has been super dope. Like, yeah, it's had its ups and downs, its peaks and valleys, right? But the day that I dropped this book right here, I had my book launch July 29, 2023, one of the happiest moments of my life. And then we're going into a season where we're doing a lot of internal work, because we can't be outside in the sun living our best life no more. We gotta go inside, sit down, and do a lot of internal reflection, do a lot of healing, do a lot of reviewing and relationship building, right? Specifically relationship building with ourselves. And I'm telling y'all, this book right here will get you where you need to go. It's your how-to guide to live your best life as your best self. You on The Stranger Within Volume 1. Make sure y'all grab y'all copy. Link will be below. Holla at y'all soon. Peace.
Family, welcome to another edition of the Lead Your Lineage podcast.
You
the
know
number one
it.
podcast for individuals seeking to end generational dysfunction.
Yes, sir.
What's good, cuz?
Man, you already know, man. You already know how you feeling.
I'm amazing on purpose, cuz.
Man, me too,
well.
man. I'm feeling great. You already know today, you know, we always bringing special divine people on this podcast. Everybody,
Absolutely.
you know, we make sure that they great people, man. And today we got Quincy. We got Quincy Haynes, man. He's an entrepreneur. He's a minister. He's a father. He's a husband, man, and he's a melanated man. And, you know, that's what we represent. You know, we represent the women too. And how you feeling today, Quincy? How you feeling? Hold on. I forgot to add, man. And I know y'all remember my brother Jamichael, man. This is his big brother, right?
Yeah,
this is his big brother,
Absolutely.
blood, man. So it's
Keep
real
it in
deal.
the family on the family podcast.
Look at that, and that was a family moment, because that was about to be my next line. So this is a family moment
And that was not
on
rehearsed.
top of a family
That was not
moment,
rehearsed,
for
yeah.
real. That's a family
That's dope.
moment on top of a family moment. And man, so we gotta shout out to Jamichael Fann, man.
Yes.
Boom,
Shout out,
this
bro.
is big brother.
Shout out, bro.
This is big brother.
Yes,
But how you feeling
yes.
though, Quincy?
Everything's well. No complaints, man. Everything's
Yeah.
well, man. Good to be a part of the podcast, man.
Appreciate
You know,
it,
see what it's
appreciate
like.
it.
See what it's like.
Yeah,
good.
yeah. You know, here, man, we represent families, and you know, we talk about relationships and all of that, man. And how long you been married?
I've been married for 17 years.
Oh, my God.
17 years of
God.
marriage.
Yes, sir.
Y'all hear that, man? That's most of my podcasters half their age, because they between 25 and 34 or something like that, 45 like that. So yeah, we appreciate that. How do you keep your marriage that lasting for? Because I've been married for what, 7 years? How can I keep it lasting for 10 more?
You got to find new ways to keep it spicy in the relationship. You know, you got to find new ways of making your woman laugh, and new ways of, you know, trying to take them on adventures and stuff that they not standard and typical of doing. And that's kind of what keeps it going. It's what keeps it rolling.
Yeah. Because Marriage, man. I feel like marriage it builds us a lot, cause I know you was a different man before you got married. Man.
Oh yeah.
And on here, man, we always talk about childhood. So, man, we gonna drop right into it, man. We're gonna start getting deep into the episode, man. We want to know on here on your Lead Your Lineage, how was it coming up as Quincy? How did you feel coming up in your child? How was your childhood, man?
You know, I mean, my childhood was, it was adventurous. You know, we had a lot of times with grandma, a lot of times with mom, you know, then a lot of times with just, you know, like about 21, 22 siblings or within probably a 5 to 7 year age span that was around each other quite often. So, you know, it was always an adventure. It was always something happening and going on. So, you know, we stayed like making ways to have fun. So, you know, that was kind of how it was with us growing up. You know, I grew up in Hallville, living on the west side of Indianapolis, and then went from there living in the land, as they call it, over on the other side of west side of Indianapolis. So, you know, and that was kind of the thing. We always just found ways to make fun. Stuff it is that wasn't standard, you know. I mean, whether it was going to the park or using crates and making basketball courts in the alley, you know, that's how we got down. We found a way to make fun. So that's kind of how it is, how it was with us growing up, all of us. Jamichael was one of the younger ones, but you know, I mean, of course, I'm almost 8 years older than him, so you know, it was like when he was born, I was like the front runner. I'm the oldest boy in the family. I got an older girl cousin in the family, and that's kind of how it stemmed, how it rolled from there.
I can relate to that, and thank you for sharing that too. Just some of those memories, right? My brother and I, we're 16 and a half years apart.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, his brother the same age as my mom.
Yeah, like so that age gap.
You got a grand brother. shout out to 85 so.
Oh man, so yeah, that age gap, I can relate to that for sure. When you spoke about, you said you had 21 or 22 siblings?
Yeah, not siblings, just cousins and family.
Just family, okay.
Just cousins and family that was always around each other. So we was like brothers and sisters because we was around each other so much. You know, we was around each other all the time.
Yeah.
It wasn't just family functions. We was just like constantly like, you know, whatever. We could just wake up in the morning and, you know, we all with each other. You know, we just, you know, stayed at grandma's house and we went to sleep with each other doing God knows what. But I mean, that's just how it was quite often.
Yeah.
That's dope. So when all of y'all were growing up together, what are some of the memories that you have with your family that were like those great? Like I want to recreate that again. What are those memories?
Well, for me, it was just more of it didn't matter what the dysfunction was. It was like grandma was the solid rock that I always found a way to just make family be around each other, to show up for each other. And, you know, even now in life, I just feel like, you know, family has become so distant with one another where they don't have those same traditions that grandma used to have that, you know, we miss out on now, and even our children miss out on now because it was just a connection. It didn't matter what dislikes, dysfunctions, whatever things that went on in the family. Grandma always found a way to make peace with it and always bring family together for us to eat, talk, love on one another, and just look out for each other in spite of all the differences that may have been there. And that was one of the things that's probably one of the greatest memories for me.
I love that. So that story resonates with us too. But that was his grandfather, my uncle, that kept us together, the guy side of our family together. Yeah, shout out to Tit, long live Tit. And uncle was always that glue that kept us together when it was like, say a holiday come up, like, hey, come on 4th of July.
Even though we don't celebrate it, because Cuz wouldn't even celebrate, it was just something to do, like you said, because we, especially for Tip, you're going to show up for Tip. You know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I resonate with that wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
So man, the moments, man, look, family, if y'all have some elders in y'all family that act as that glue, you may not celebrate the holidays or whatnot, that's okay.
But what's more important than your stance on you celebrating the holiday at night is spending time with your family. Because those memories you will not get back.
Never.
You can be present and be able to have those memories. Like go be with your people.
Yeah.
Go heal those wounds. Go have those conversations, whether it be comfortable or uncomfortable. Go have that, y'all. It's priceless. It's priceless. I know we would all say we would love to have some of those conversations, some of those hug our grandmothers again. You know what I mean? Like go bury that.
And we must create those moments too.
Oh yeah.
Because I was just about to ask you, since that's going on, how do we? Well, go ahead and finish the story. I got some. How do we build that again? How do we create those moments again as us becoming the older people? I feel like now it's time for us. We gotta stop putting that blame on and talking about family don't get together. I think it's us. So how do we start creating those moments again so the children can grow up? Because our kids not growing up with a whole bunch of cousins like we grew up. Our kids ain't growing up with a whole bunch of grandmas, adopted grandmas. How many people had adopted grandmas? This grandma wasn't your grandma, but she was your grandma. You know what I mean? I can name so many of those people. You know what I mean? This wasn't your cousin, but he was your cousin. Sure. You know, it's different now, and that concept made us respect people. Think about it. That concept of that grandma made us, when we see an older lady, even whatever you doing in the streets, don't matter if you in the streets or even if you just a sports player, a person in the book, don't matter who you was, at that moment you respected that grandma because you resonated with the grandma in your neighborhood. You know what I mean? Nowadays it ain't that grandma in the neighborhood. So
I mean, well, I feel like the way that we recreate that, or the way that we bring that back to the family is, well, honestly, we gotta look past the dysfunction that family can sometimes bring or have. Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of time we got hang-ups where we so busy having an issue with somebody. And you know, family is not something that we ever have been blessed to pick. Family is something it is that you know, God had put together for us, because those are the people that when times get rough in life, no matter what their dysfunction may be with you or in general, them people are the ones that you gonna need to lean on. You know, you gonna need to be there to support. It's like that support system. And I feel like, you know, bringing family together and letting your kids see them cousins, them uncles, them aunties, them brothers and sisters, when you bring them together and put all the differences to the side and just say, we come in and just enjoy each other's company, and you let that be the foundation of what it is you do, I feel like anything is possible. Agreed. But you gotta lay aside those dysfunctions, because every family have them. It don't matter who you are, it don't matter how good you think you are, no matter how much money you might feel like you have, or how high and mighty you might feel like you are. At the end of the day, we all face the same situations in life, and we all got the same things it is that we dealing with and we trying to overcome in general, just as a person, just as people. And I feel like that's where it started. That's where it needs to start at, to recreate that bond that grandma made happen.
Agreed.
I love that. That's powerful.
Agreed, that is, man.
That's powerful. So let me ask you this. What are some things that you learned in your childhood days that you are teaching your children and passing down to them?
Well, you know, my grandma always taught us about tradition, and my grandma was a general church goer or whatnot. But at the end of the day, my grandma taught all of us to be solid and to be a thinker, to be a person who thinks. And like, you know, it's easy for you to fall victim to what can be said to you, or even things that may have been done to you, but you got to be a person who can think your way through a situation, or think your way through whatever life may bring, or what adversity you may face. When you a thinker, you can see stuff from more than one side. And then when you put that together, then you can gravitate life different. I feel like a lot of our people in general don't think a little bit more deeper. And I think that for me, I feel like life, and I feel like going to college was one of those things. That's what it taught me, to be more of a critical thinker, to see stuff more than from just a perspective of what I grew up seeing, and see it from the flip side of the coin, and see it from another way, or just through a different lens. And I feel like that's what it has taught me in life in general. And and that's what I teach my kids all the time. You're gonna face a lot of stuff in life, and everything I'm not gonna be able to be there with you. But while I'm raising you and trying to instill something in you, my number one thing is for you to be able to think your way through. That's what it is.
I love that. Yeah, that's I resonate with that too. Cause when I go back to high school, I had a class in high school called critical thinking.
Mm-hmm.
That was the whole premise of the class, and I excelled in that class. When we did the papers, I was all right, but you know what I mean. But just the thinking part and actually articulation of what we had to say, that was extremely beneficial. That was probably my favorite class in high school, outside of like the sports stuff, like the gym and weightlifting and all that. A critical thinking class, and also ADDIT, which stands for Advancement via Individual Determination. Those two classes combined with the sports stuff, that really gave me a different perspective on life before I even realized what the word perspective meant. You know, like real talk. Like, it was like, I only think I heard the word perspective until I got to the college campus at Indiana State.
Okay.
When I would like think about it.
I actually went to Liberty University. It's I went online. It's in Virginia.
Yeah.
However, it's a well-known school. It's a well-known school now. It's a Division I school. They actually about to face Oregon in the bowl, in one of the bowl games. But they're a well-known school. I mean, now they're a well-known school in the 21st century. So, and just for generally speaking, going to college and getting a master's degree was not something that was even in my radar, to be honest. And just the fact that, I took it upon myself to say I want to achieve this, and I strive for the goal, and me actually accomplishing getting a master's degree in and of itself, man, is an amazing feat for me.
Let us know, man. What was going on before you got your master's and all that? What was your mindset before you even went to college?
I'm an entrepreneur, so I always been a person. The name of my business is Purpose Driven Hands, and in the business I'm a barber. But I grew up, doing a lot of different stuff, like building stuff with my hands, like laying carpet, like I cut hair by trade. I've done quite a bit with my hands growing up, and that's where along with the spiritual aspect of it, but the constant use of my hands is where that name came up from, and why I put that name together. However, I'm a barber and I'm an entrepreneur, and I meet different people on a daily and a regular basis, and I've always connected with people. And then just the gift of cutting hair has done some things for me. So, that's the reason why I really didn't have like college on my radar. While I was in high school, it was a thought, it was something that crossed your mind, because of course you speak about it, in school, SATs, ACTs, college, where you want to go to and all of that. But, being a young kid from Hallville, not having a lot of money, I was like, college wasn't even on my radar. But now that I've accomplished that goal, not even for just me, myself, even if my kids, because I don't per se push college on my kids, but if it's something they want to do, they have an example in me as their father that ain't nothing impossible for you to do. You can accomplish that if that's something it is that you feel like you want to do, or feel like you want to, have as that, self-accomplishment, for yourself. And even, who knows where it may take you in life.
I love that.
Yeah, and going back on that perspective, man, when you said that, see, I didn't get to graduate. However, at that moment, it changed my perspective. It put a seed in my head at that moment, and I didn't know until probably just now. Not just now at this moment, but a couple years or so ago. It gave me a different perspective on life too. I was meeting so many different people who I never met, because just a lot of people who watch this, they're probably not from Indianapolis, so they don't really know where Hallville is, and they don't know where Far East is. But although there's areas of crime and poverty, you know what I mean, just to be 100, You know what I mean? So, you know, I was around, I grew up Far East Side. So I was meeting individuals for the first time who never sold drugs, who never got in a fight, who never had a gun, who never saw a gun, who never did that. I'm like, dang, there's people in this world who never like did this. Like, dang, you ain't never been around this. Like, it was just throwing me off. So, you know, I knew Cuz, me and Cuz wasn't hanging out around that time. You know, me and Cuz just started hanging out. You know, because we both figure out that we very different, but we on the same mission. You know what I mean? And so this was before then, man. And putting a different perspective, that changed my mindset. I feel like that's one thing a lot of Black young men don't get to have a chance to experience. Seeing something different, seeing something outside the neighborhood, outside their city, outside their perspective, seeing somebody who looked like them, who went through a totally different life. And you be like, man, bro, such people living amongst us like that. So when you said that, that's what resonated with me, man.
Yeah, life is much bigger than what you have grown up with and seen. And what fascinated me as a father, as a husband, and just a man in general, what fascinated me was when I thought about the people in my neighborhoods I grew up with and all that who'd never been outside of their community. They never traveled, they never been anywhere. And I feel like that's one of the things to me that is a disservice to us as a people, because not only college, but traveling opens your mindset up and opens your perspective up as well of life in general. And I feel like that's something it is that as a people we need to encourage people to do.
Great.
Most definitely. And I'll say this too. When you were describing a situation in your life, you said you believe that people need to think more deeply. I agree with that wholeheartedly, right?
Great.
And I say this, for a lot of our people, we need to instead of, you know, you always say we gotta work 10 times harder. I'm like, nah, that ain't it, fam. It's like my mind, and like from observation, and also the way I'm thinking too, and also the way I feel. So it's a combination of those three things. We need to stop working 10 times harder and start thinking 10 times deeper.
Great.
Like that's when we talk about spiritual powers, right?
Yeah.
We have, first and foremost, the majority of people don't understand who they are, or what they are, why they are, how they are, things of that nature, right? You can use all those words. But on the flip side of that, we have the power to, but we never get time to really sit down and really explore ourselves. Like when Cuz came up with the original people, him and his wife came up with the original people, Cuz had an opportunity to sit down and really explore who he was. Because he wasn't doing all these things, he could literally figure out what it is to just be. And when he had time to listen to his ancestors, listen to the Creator, to be able to receive his mission, then he was able to birth the original people in the Eve gene alongside his wife. Shout out to Nadia. And with that being said, in terms of thinking 10 times deeper instead of working 10 times harder, walk us through the process of you and your wife becoming one. Like, how much thought did you put into that, saying like, okay, this is the one for me? What was your thought process going from when y'all met to 17 years later, y'all still being married?
Okay, so first I'm gonna start off by saying, like, you know, I got married at 29 years old. And 29 years old by no means is a 46-year-old Quincy. But, you know, like the images of what you see, you know, I've seen a lot of different marriages of people getting divorces, of different things going on in marriage. And it kind of tainted my view of marriage in general, you know, just as a start and growing into myself and becoming a young man and becoming an adult man and having responsibilities in life, you know, coming all together, you know. And I feel like the saying is true. that opposites do attract. And me and my wife are opposite in the aspect of the things it is that I lack or fall short in, she is actually strong in. And sometimes we neglectfully overlook those things, but when it's really a benefit to us as men and as women and vice versa. So I feel like, you know, if you dating someone or you connecting with somebody, don't overlook the small things that are the strengths for them and the weaknesses for you, or the weaknesses for you and the strengths for them. So, you know, you can't overlook that, because that's what, you know, we often get what we need, but we always on a search of looking for what we want. And when we get what we need, we kind of overlook it because we feel like, you know, as men, we look at the exterior and trying to look at the body shape and all of that, but the mindset and the strengths that they have is actually what's going to be beneficial to you as a husband or as a wife getting married to a man, for your children, and for even your grandchildren. Like, that's what's going to be beneficial for the relationship. So I feel like that the opposites have attracted and brought us together. It's been some ups and downs in relationships, and nobody in any relationship is not going to go through something. So if you think that you're going to become one without having any hurdles, I tell you right now, it's a total lie. Yeah. You will have some hurdles, but you got to have those times where you know how to respond and not react. See, as men, I'm guilty of reacting and letting my emotions get the best of me versus responding intelligently and understanding that this is your helpmate. This is your person. This is the one you becoming one with. So you got to kind of readjust your thinking and calm yourself down, speak to yourself, whatever you need to do in order for you to respond correctly, and y'all can still have that camaraderie in a relationship and still grow as a people, as a couple. And I feel like that's the biggest thing for me that has allowed us to see 17 years and going into 18 years of marriage and 20 years in a relationship.
Well, thank you for sharing that. That's powerful, man. You said so much. So much to unpack in that. When we think about, I want to shift gears here. When we think about entrepreneurship, right? What inspired, I know you said you've been doing stuff with your hands your whole life, but what inspired you to really start going down that road to grow that into an enterprise? Like, it could have stayed a hobby, but it's like, okay. Like, when did you have that mindset shift, or when did that switch flip? It was like, I want to turn this into a business for real.
Well, I've been cutting hair again since I was 12 years old. I mean, you know, I've cut my cousins, my brothers, people in the neighborhood, people I went to school with. I've cut hair for a long time, and you know, I've worked quite a bit of jobs growing up, parties, McDonald's, Burger King. You know, I worked quite a bit of jobs, and you know, I feel like I got the will and the tenacity to be able to work anywhere in the world. I feel like I can work any job anywhere in the world. However, I feel like the entrepreneurship was one of those things that I feel like can take you places that working for a company cannot take you. So, you know, me working them jobs and working in the corporate world, seeing the things that I like, seeing the things that I didn't like, pushed me to the avenue of entrepreneurship. And, you know, I feel like even if you are in the corporate world and you working in the corporate world, that's fine and that's well, but I feel like you should have some type of entrepreneurial hand in something, because I feel like it's going to teach you some things, it's going to reveal some stuff to you that you won't necessarily learn as being a corporate world worker in every job. Some jobs will, but not every job is going to teach you the entrepreneurial aspect of having your own business, seeing what it's like to, have a system, have a bookkeeping plan, have, like finances, and seeing money in a different way, seeing money, how to manage what you get, how to utilize it for responsibilities within your home and responsibilities within the business. And I just feel like entrepreneurship is something it is that I wanted to teach my kids and want them to know that even if you are working, to keep you doing something with your hands, because you will never have a day where you can't go without money because you have learned to do something with your hands. And I remember a long time ago, someone made the statement that if you don't teach your kids a skill with their hands, you teach them to steal. And I feel like everybody should have an entrepreneurial hand for yourself, but also for your kids' benefit and grandkids' benefit for the generations to come.
That's powerful. You don't teach them a skill, you teach them to steal. Ooh. That's good. That's good. That's good. I love that.
I'm still, I wanted to ask you this. I'm gonna take you back. You was talking about emotions, handling emotions with relationships, man. Before we act, a lot of us, especially people grew up like me, not having a father, so we missed that. We missed on how to deal with our emotions when you upset, when you not feeling good. We didn't ever get to see a man handle it. We got to see a woman handle it. So, how did you manage to, first of all, just grow up with your father?
No, I didn't grow up with my father.
Okay. Second of all is, how did you learn how to manage your emotions to help with your relationship? What did you do differently now that you didn't do back then?
Well, emotions is something it is that we all gotta first understand that we all have. And the emotional part of us is not the part it is, because the emotional part of us is the part that oftentimes get us in trouble. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I learned, and I'm still in the learning process, because we're all a work in progress, but I learned that, my emotions got the best of me, got me in some situations and some issues that, I wasn't okay with, so after going through certain things that life brought with, emotionally reacting to things, and even seeing stuff like, we see stuff all the time on the news, in the neighborhood. I'm a barber, so I see stuff in the barbershop or just in the community that you live in, and you see that the emotions of you oftentimes is what gets you in most of the trouble you in. So in order for you to think about what it is that's going on logically, you gotta step back and give your mind a time to take those few seconds and put your mind on response and not react. So when you put your mind in a phase of responding versus reacting, you give yourself an opportunity to think about the situation that's going on, because everything has consequences. And I tell my children this as well, that there's good and bad consequences to everything in life. So when you let your emotions get the best of you, oftentimes it's gonna get you in trouble. But when you take those few seconds to step back and think, it allows you to respond where you, one, can keep yourself out of those consequences that could have been bad, and put yourself in a situation to think. And I feel like as brothers, and I'm sure y'all probably relate with this, all of us as brothers, we found ourselves in those spaces because, we grew up, like he said, with our moms and looking at the female way of dealing with things. Not saying that they didn't teach us great things, but those things as men is not something it is that we should be doing, because this is the reason why we are one of the biggest percentages in the jail population, or we die at a much younger age because of the emotional reaction to something instead of the intelligence response to a thing.
I agree, man. I agree with that 100%. Man, most of the times I realize, well, I'll be the first one to swing. I'll be the first one to do something, it's because I was always in my emotions. I'm an emotional person.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't believe in horoscopes just because I feel like I was just born. That was just because I was born like that. You know what I mean? Everybody born different. And I realized, man, a lot of my ways, man, I was having and how I was dealing with life, man, is because I look up to my mama, and I still do today, but I look up to her in a different way now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I used to say, my mama, man, she taught me how to be a man. No, I had to teach myself how to be a man. It's not discrediting nothing my mama did. My mama gave me my MVPs, my morals, values, and principles.
Oh yeah.
However,
For sure.
I had to teach myself to be a man, man.
Mm-hmm.
And hearing and going into a relationship, I was me and my wife. I was with my wife since 7th grade, on and off. So she was my 7th grade girlfriend. Then I got married to her when I was only 23, I think. I don't know. I was 23. So I was young, then like you said, the 23 I am now, and then the 30 year old I am now, by the Gardenian calendar, is a totally different me. I'm glad she married me then, but I had to learn how to control my emotions. And I have 3 kids, and I want you to answer, I got a couple questions for her about how many kids you got and stuff, but I have 3 kids, and I learned that I'm so glad I learned how to deal with my emotions, because now I'm able to teach my son when he get mad instead of, because I see, not knocking his mama or nothing about that, but even my mama, a woman natural reaction is, boy, shut up, be quiet, man up. You know what I mean? Instead of going to, like, hey bro, why you crying for? Is this the right reason to cry? Man, cry, but we're not crying for no reason. Is crying getting this resolution? Is it getting this problem solved? And that being that, man, how many kids you got, man? And
speaking to the root.
Yeah, and what's the name, man? How many kids you got, man? And what is my favorite question is, and what is some morals and values and principles that you teach them? Because that's one I teach them as well. That's why I'm glad you brought that up.
Well, I have 4 kids, and I actually got 4 grandkids. I got my daughter on December the 13th. Just had our grandbaby. Had a son, my first grandson. But I got granddaughters. I got granddaughters as well. But the whole thing is, man, I teach my children. I got 3 letters, 3 acronyms that I use for them.
Yeah.
DBS. Discipline, balance, and structure. So, discipline is something it is that, I feel like as a young man, I at 16, 17 years old, man, was really out on my own. So, I was gravitating life, and moving around and learning stuff the hard way. So, I DBS for me is real serious because, you gotta have discipline in order for you to keep yourself grounded, keep yourself thinking, and keep yourself out of troubles that you can avoid based on having a discipline that comes from the home. So, I try to teach all of my kids that at the end of the day, you have a responsibility to yourself to make sure that you get yourself back home on a daily and on a nightly basis. And the way that you do that is by understanding that it's going to be fools in the world that you may encounter, but the struggle is for what you've been taught at home is for you to be disciplined and know when you see something that is not conducive to you and helpful for you to be able to get to your next destination is something you need to do everything in your power to get away from. Balance. Life has to have balance. You can't have all good and no bad. We've been given this false information of things gonna be well with you if you do this or if you do that. But I know, and I'm reminded of a scripture that says that any man born of a woman is but a few days and filled with trouble. And so, you know, with life having trouble, you got to learn how to be balanced. You got to, whatever your spiritual connection is, whatever your prayer life is like, whatever your view is on life, you should always be able to keep yourself balanced. You got to work hard in order for you to play hard. But in life, you got to keep the balance in order for you to be able to gravitate and be able to understand not ever to get too high or never get too low on life, because life will be lifing, and without you wanting to, it will be lifing. So, you know, you got to stay balanced and structured. Structure is something that my wife and myself, and even, you know, grandparents and siblings and all, you know, that part of structure comes from all of that. You got to have structure in your home so it can be used outside of your home. I tell my kids this: it's not about what you do around me, because I know you're going to do what you need to do around me because you in my face. But life is all about what you're going to do when you're not around me, because not only are you carrying your mom and my name, but you're carrying a family legacy. And what you look like in the streets and to the world is going to be a direct reflection of what we look like as your parents.
Absolutely.
And you didn't quoted a scripture on us. So I want to ask you this, man. I know I said you was a minister. How long you been ministering, and what graduated you to go into that path?
Well, I mean, like I said, I grew up in church. I'm a church kid. You know, yeah. I did, you know, just about everything you can think of. I was junior deacon. I was master of ceremony. I was, you know, singing in the choir, usher. You know, I had to, you know, do plays and the whole nine. So, you know, I did all of that. But, you know, this is the thing that's funny about church and funny about life itself to me. Yeah. You know, it was all the things that we seen when we was going to church as kids, as youngsters, that as we became older and we wasn't made to go to church, that pushed us away from church. But it was all the hell that life brought me and all the things it is that I had to learn the hard way that made me go back to church. Because it ain't about the church body. You are the church as an individual, you the church. But at the end of the day, when you go and assemble yourselves among other people, it's not about what their dysfunctions are or what they got going on or what negativity they might bring, because the church is one of the biggest hospitals in the world. But you go in there because you know that you have a problem. You know you have an issue that you can't solve on your own. And you need something greater than you, that's that spirit living inside of you. You need something greater than you for you to be able to gravitate life in and of itself. Because life can be hell. Life can be real crazy. But, you know, that's what made me go back into ministry. It's not because of, you know, like just the whole technicality of, you know, preaching and doing all of that. It's just the fact that I know that if it wasn't for God with me, I know I wouldn't be here right now speaking to you. And then that's what brought me back to church and what brought me back to just ministry in and of itself. That's what brought me back to it.
Yeah, and I just want to get into that because I just want to show people, man, everything he said, I feel him. But, you know, I always want to show people because, you know, everybody who follows this know I don't believe in Jesus. I don't believe, I'm not a religious person. I'm a spiritual person, you know. But I just be wanting to show people that it'd be a lot of conflict. It'd be non-vegans versus the people who eat meat. I just want to show people, like, we melanated people. I call this man brother. I make jokes with him. You know what I mean? Ain't nothing changed. Ain't nothing changed because we got different religious aspects, or we got whatever y'all want to call it. The hard conversations people be bringing up and be like, oh man, people be fighting and bickering about. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He a minister, man, and he came on this podcast knowing that. You know what I mean? And we respect each other. You know, and that's why. That's why I say I respect everything you said. You know what I mean? I don't agree with it, but I respect it. Okay. And that's a difference, you know, because I don't believe in God. You know what I mean? I probably, in my opinion, I feel like that was you, but that's my opinion. People got to know how to respect people other opinions, man. And that's why I be trying to show people, like, man, we brothers, man. We got to put this brotherhood before anything, because we the only people who don't do it. White folks Don't care what religion the next white man is, they still gonna do business with them. They still gonna love each other because it shouldn't be like that. It ain't nowhere, I don't know, tell me if I'm wrong, but it ain't nowhere in the Bible where it say, man, you gotta treat the non-Christians bad. You gotta not hang out with them. I know it don't say nothing like that. You know
No,
what I mean?
I mean, you know, it's about it. To me, it's not about religion, and religion is not something it is that me personally I get caught up on.
Yeah.
It's about theology.
Yeah.
It's about the study of God.
Yeah.
Theology. That's what I'm hung up on. That's what my drive is because I want people to know it don't matter what you assess of life, what your you know what your who you connect with or what your belief is or none of that. My thing is, at the end of the day, the Bible tells us to be kind, and that's not something it is that just should be spiritual. That's just something that should be general as a human being. You should love other people in general, and then it should be just a given for life. Be kind. Kindness is free. A smile is free. You know, giving a kind word to somebody is free. That's not something it is that costs. Because you know, like we got so much craziness going on in the black community. Like, you know, we got too many things that is going on for us to be caught up on what somebody else's belief is or whatever the case may be. I mean, you know, I respect everybody. I don't disrespect anybody. You know, and at the end of the day, it's not about that for me. It's about me showing somebody my perspective, my view, and prayerfully, hopefully, whatever way life takes you or whatever road life takes you down, that you understand that, you know, I'm going to be that person that's going to be kind to you no matter what. I mean, if I can treat somebody who is not my brother kind, I can treat you kind as well. I don't care what you look like.
Real talk, man.
Absolutely. And that's beautiful. There's a lot of we just, like y'all both said, respect. A lot when I go into the schools and talk to young people, like for example, right, recently we were going over a PowerPoint and the curriculum. We were talking about values and dreams, and how to create them and how to start seeing the power in them and things of that nature, right? There were a few individuals, probably about 4, that wasn't showing respect. You know, like this whole conversation centered around what y'all want to do and how can we help y'all do it. So when we talk about respect, I want to shift that conversation here, because it's like we're teaching them how to value their own dreams and their own values, but they may not have received that at home, whether it be in the family or home and within self. They haven't received that, so it was kind of like a foreign concept to them. So as we were teaching them how to respect their dreams and their values, they ended up being disrespectful to themselves because they didn't value that. But they couldn't articulate the dream they had. We're here like, hey, what y'all want to do? All right, how can we connect y'all with X, Y, and Z? Like for example, I done spoke at a school a couple of times. I hit up cuz like, hey cuz, I got somebody want to do a clothing line. Cuz will tell you, like, hey cuz, they want to start their own clothing brand. What's like the first 3 things they need to do? Cuz to tell him to, if he not homeschooling his children, he'll talk to them, chop it up for them for a little bit. I had them write it down. Like, all right, you have not because you asked not. You asked for it. I'll put somebody in front of you. What you gonna do now? And it goes back to the consequences. But people don't have that self-respect. We lost that, and that's why I believe a lot of us don't have respect for the next man or the next woman, because we don't have respect for ourselves.
Yeah.
So how do we develop the collective respect? Secondly, but first, how do we find self-respect? How do we get back to those principles?
Well, self-respect is something that's kind of like in the lines of confidence. And at the end of the day, you know, it's about self-confidence. You know, when you get hung up on social media sites and the things that you may see on TV and all these different genres of social sites that you view and you see on a daily basis. They got an image of, they want you to look a certain way, be a certain height, be a certain weight, have your hair in a certain hairstyle, dress a certain way. However, we all are individuals and we all have our own style and our own way. And the way you get that is through the confidence you have within yourself. So confidence is something it is that, anybody from any area, any aspect of life, anybody viewing you can feel and can see. I that's the same thing it is that as I teach my son, like you don't look down when you're talking to a grown man. You look up, you look him in the face when you're talking to him. You have confidence, when you're talking to a man, and you do those things, and it just goes in the line of confidence. So I would tell a child that, don't have that self-awareness, that at the end of the day, you got to live with you. And at the end of the day, your mom, your dad, your siblings, nobody can live your life for you better than you. So what do you think of yourself? Ask your daughters that, ask your sons that, ask your grandchildren that, ask, even your friends that. What do you think of yourself? When you stand and you look at yourself in the mirror in the morning or at night, what do you think of yourself? And what you think of yourself carries along with the lines of whatever it is you put your hands to, whatever it is that you believe, whatever it is you desire to do can be done. But it's about what you believe in you. So you gotta have that confidence that it don't matter what it takes, it don't matter what's going on. I feel like I wanna do this, I enjoy this, and I'm gonna do everything I can in order for it to come to pass. And then when we live in a life of called law of attraction. So when you speak stuff into the atmosphere and you positive in the atmosphere, it's gonna come back to you, and it's gonna work out for your good. But when you speak negatively, or when you speak negativity about yourself, then those are the results that you're going to get. What do you want? How do you see yourself? And how do you desire for your life to be? And that's, Michael Jordan, one of the greatest, is, in my opinion, the greatest basketball player to ever play the game. But Michael Jordan made the statement that it wasn't about how many times he won, it was about how many times he failed that catapulted him into the player that he became in basketball. So, we gonna all fail, but it's not a failure, it's a lesson. It's not a failure, it's a lesson. But in order for you to learn a lesson, you gotta be willing to fail. But it's okay. What did you learn? What did you learn from that failure? What did you learn from that hiccup? What did you learn from that fork in the road? And when you learn from that fork in the road, let it be that tool you use to be a blessing to you for when you move forward with whatever it is you're trying to do.
Great, man. I always say that, man. I preach that a lot, man. That concept of looking at life as not failures, as lessons, that will keep you going. You eventually learn what not to do. We can bring it back to Michael Jordan. Eventually, he learned what not to do. He learned not to be a ball hog. He learned that he can't get the rebounds. He needs somebody else to come and get the rebounds. He learned a lot of different things in his first year of his career when he was losing a lot, unlike LeBron James. But but you know what I mean. But so he was losing a lot at the beginning of his career. So man, y'all laugh, made me forget what I was going to say. But so yeah, man. But yeah, man. So what I was gonna ask, man. I know you said you got 4 kids. How many sons you got?
I got 2 sons. So I got a son. So my oldest kids is 27. So November, December, their birthday is 27.
Okay.
I got a 16 to 14-year-old that live in the house. So my kids is, a little older. They not, babies no more. But I got grandbabies as well. So, it's I mean, it's teaching me a lot, and just to be able to say like you're a granddaddy is like still crazy to me right now. You know, just the aspect of
Grandpa, you
seeing
Pawpaw.
seeing granddaddy. You know, that's something it is, man. That's just, I mean, just amazing in and of itself. Seeing them and hearing them say your name and hearing them, call you out when
That's
when you come around or whatnot. But that's a beautiful thing, man. Just to live to see it, man. There's so many of our people, man. Like I said, I'm a barber, and just seeing so many people that passed away at so young of ages, man, and just to be able to say that I'm in granddaddy phase is great. It's cool.
Yeah, real. And not grow. See, see my child. See, I'm not nowhere near done. I feel like I'm at the beginning. I have a 5. He's about to be 3 in December 28th, which is around the corner. And then so he's 2 right now. And then I got a daughter that just was born. And just like you, man, I didn't have no father, man. So how did you navigate not being able to know who to look up to or knowing what the role? Like sometimes, I mean, I know I'm doing great as a father.
Absolutely.
But not being able to look, I can look in the mirror, but I can't look at something else and be like, okay, I'm doing it. You've been doing it you said your oldest is 27, correct?
Mm-hmm.
You've been a father for 27 years, and you're closer to sons, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how did you manage that relationship and grow and manage them to be who they are for 27 years without having someone to look up to?
Well, I can say it plainly like this. Everything it is that I desire to have is everything that I desire to instill and give. That's in and of itself what I looked at it as, like all those things it is that I desire to have and desire to do as a youngster. I had a granddaddy that I used to cut grass with and do little things that he taught me. But like having my own father, and having that all the time for me I feel like probably would have had me think a different way and see life a different way. But I'm not gonna take away from anything that my grandma, my great aunt, my mom was to my life. I'm not gonna take away any of that because they taught me some great life lessons. However, I feel like that as a Black community as a whole, the women are doing, their thing with being mothers and all of that. Shout out to the women all over the world. They raising young men all the time. But it's a blessing to have a father in your life and be able to have that person that that's there and give you that aspect of life that mom can't necessarily give to you, because mom not gonna see life the same way that dad sees it, and dad not gonna see life the same way mom sees it. That's the reason why I feel like that union, that connection matters a whole lot. And for people who shun marriage and run away from it, it's gonna be probably one of the toughest jobs you'll have in your life. However, it's fruitful in and of itself when your kids can see both of their parents, see them working together, see them living life, see them, doing things together. And it gives them some encouragement and confidence that they can do the same and they can have whatever life they desire to have, just from seeing what y'all capable of connecting and doing together as a couple.
Absolutely.
Before you wrap it up, I thought you were about to wrap it up.
No. I wanted to say this too. Like, I had my father in my life, and then when I was mid-20s, like the peak of like really getting into like what becoming a man is, like really getting into that. My father, he transitioned. But I was reluctant to have other family members I could possibly lean on. I had mentors I leaned on. You know what I'm saying? So by having that dynamic of what you just alluded to and what y'all are both doing, I want to commend y'all on that, because y'all breaking the generational dysfunction right now, just speaking and breathing. And having children and being there today. Like y'all spoke to y'all children today. Y'all loved on y'all children today.
Yeah.
So I want to give y'all flowers
Appreciate
right now on Lead Your Lineage.
Appreciate it. And I know that's 4-year generation for me.
Yeah.
Because my grandma didn't have her daddy like that. Tip was a great grandpa, but he wasn't like that. And my mama's didn't like that. Then I didn't have a good relationship with my father, but my kids got a good relationship with me. So
Yeah, that's what life is about, breaking generational
Breaking
curses
generational curses.
and
that's what we doing.
and instilling something to leave as a legacy. You know, that's the thing for me. My goal has been and still is. It's not just to leave a name and to leave a label that I got with whatever things that I accomplished in life.
Yeah.
It's about leaving a legacy that your kids can hold on to and have something to strive for. Because, you know, with all of the schooling and all the things of the world that you can accomplish, the greatest thing that you can accomplish is leaving something for the next generation or the generation following that they can connect with, use, and build on and become better as a result of something that you started. You know, we just trying to be groundbreakers. That's what it's about, being groundbreakers and letting them continue to add to the stones that you already laid.
I love that, man. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So I want to ask you this as we wrap up. When you look at your family, like from the past, present, and the future, where do you see your family trajectory heading in the next 5 to 10 years? Where you see your family? Where you see yourself leading your family?
Well, in the next 5 years, you know, well, I'm gonna say this to everybody that listens, that hears this. I'm gonna say this: make sure that you don't neglect to make plans and to make goals for yourself. Because making plans and making goals gives you something to strive for. Write it down. Visualize yourself being there and doing it. And with that being said, my goal for my family and the future is elevation. You know, we've been blessed to be able to, you know, have home purchase, you know, get the material things that life has to offer. But it's about elevating, and it's about having something for, you know, your family to be able to use for the future and for the days ahead. So my goal for my family is for us to be able to see what the next phase of life looks like. You know, we so consumed with what we see in our communities that we raised in, see in our communities that we currently live in, and we get consumed by that only. But it's something bigger out there for you. Yeah. And I want my family to see the next phase of what that bigger looks like. Not just see it from a distance, but see it where we are a part of it. We can put our hands on it. We can touch it. We can connect with it, but we can tell somebody else how to get there and how to do it. Because life is not about what it is that you can accomplish and receive for yourself. It's about being capable of giving it to somebody else so they can be a blessing and they can have the same things and be an encouragement to somebody else. Because when you get so caught up on yourself and what you have selfishly for yourself, you miss the whole gist of what life is all about. It's about connecting and being a blessing to somebody else so they can elevate and be a blessing as well.
I love that. Elevation, that's the word of the day.
Yeah.
So as we close it out, do you have anything you want to share with the people, like where your barbershop is at, what you got going on?
Before you close it out, cuz, man,
you got a question?
Yeah, I got.
Okay, what's up? Talk to me,
man. No, this is just a little something. Man, hey, man, see y'all. Now, Quincy, man, he came up to me, he want to start a podcast. I want y'all to encourage brother to start a podcast, man. Absolutely. And man, we will. What would you name your podcast? That's first year on.
Well, to be honest with you, I've already got it in the making. So my podcast, I've already been doing things to start it. The name of the podcast is called Crossroads. Yeah. And I named it Crossroads just because of some of the hurdles it is with school, with relationship, with life in general, that I've had to deal with along the way is a part of it. And one of the greatest things to me, or the lack thereof to me, is mentorship. And my podcast is centered around mentorship and motivation, or the lack thereof. And the reason why I say the lack thereof is because, you know, I feel like mentorship is very helpful for anybody, no matter what area of career or path that your life may go in. But having that mentorship will give you the things that help you with the do's and don'ts, or with the encouragement to stay focused, continue working, to, you know, just do the things it is that you need to do in order for you to get there. And it's up to you to refine the gift that you get. But the motivation part is that I want all of us to understand that life will life. But at the end of the day, you have to find some motivation and find that fine line in the sand for you to stay motivated, stay encouraged, and understand that you gotta break one brick, you gotta lay down one piece of paper, you gotta put up one tab, a note tab at a time for you to get there. But as long as you get there, that's what it's all about. So that's what the podcast is gonna be about, mentorship and motivation. Crossroads is the name of it. 2024, I plan to be dropping and letting people hear what it is that I have to speak about.
I'm glad you shared it here on Lead Your Lineage, man.
Yes, I appreciate it,
man. You already know, man.
We gotta be on.
We gotta be. We trying to get on there. I'm gonna support you.
For sure,
We can give you a shout out on Instagram, because, bruh, I'm a big supporter. I don't know, it's hard to find people like that in Indianapolis, man.
Yeah.
Especially when you're doing the same type of work as them. I don't know why, but it seems like they want to make it a clash. So, man, if you have a clothing line, man, I'll be trying to support you. If you got a podcast, I'll be trying to support you. I support you if you black doing anything, but those two, I'll be even trying to go harder, because I got one too, so I know how it is. So, man, whatever me and Cuz can help you with, man, let us know, man. We can talk more off camera, man. We don't let our people go.
Yes,
You know what
I
I mean?
appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely. It's
Thank
been
you,
another
thank you.
dope episode of the Lead Your Lineage
Another
podcast.
divine, Cuz, divine.
Absolutely. Quincy, thank you for
Appreciate
coming
you,
on the
man.
appreciate the podcast.
Appreciate the
Appreciate
input,
you
man.
for coming
For
on
real,
and
man.
really dropping some gems on us and really giving some guidance too for
For
us. You know what I'm
real.
saying? Being in the game of marriage for so long. 17 years, man. And
man.
just we're gleaning from that wisdom that you share with us. So we appreciate you for sharing it.
For real.
Thank you.
Well, all right, family, as we wrap up,
Appreciate
you
it, y'all.
You know how we always love to end it. Lead yourself so you can lead your lineage.
Yeah, man, make sure you hit that subscribe button.
Like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe.
Bring
Right
your
now.
family.
It's right down there. Go ahead and do your thing.
Bring your family next time.
Absolutely. Make
You
sure y'all
already
get the
know.
popcorn too.
You already
And alcohol
know.
water to balance it out.
Let them know,
Like Quincy
because.
said.
Let them know, because.
All right, y'all. Lead yourself so you can lead your lineage. Until
The,
next
vegan,
time.
the vegan Deacon.
That's what they used to call me.
Hey, nah, you still is. My cousin still is the vegan Deacon.
All
I
right,
don't care
y'all.
what y'all talking about, man. Y'all better listen to Big Cub.
We out. Peace.
My wife gonna be like, well, you don't let them people go.